Good morning, everybody. You're listening to the Cindy Cochran Show. Oh, boy, it is Tuesday. That means we're real close to Wednesday, which moves us even further to Thursday and Friday. And then the weekend is here again. So listen, guys, it is it's a gray, hazy day here in Montgomery County, but very, very overcast. And I'm just reeling from the ride here. I had to take Samuel and Cindy, my grandchildren. Samuel's 11, Cindy's 9. And I usually bring them to school each morning and then come back, get ready to come to the show. But the STAR test is happening. The STAR test, if you don't have children in school, or you've heard about this, but if you have children in the fifth grade especially, it's a big deal. When the STAR test happens, they put out a bulletin for everybody to read. No parents can come, and then they added grandparents, and I know why. Because I come up and I bring lunches to the kids, and they have a little area for you to sit in, but they don't want any parents, any grandparents, no relatives, nobody can come in. The school is on lockdown for the STAR test, and it's very serious. And all the kids have been told they have to be quiet during lunch, not to disturb the fifth graders. They bring the lunch into the fifth graders. They give them snacks. They have brain breaks where they stand up and dance crazy to music, and they say you can chew gum while you're in this testing arena. It's like a 4-hour test, and I mean they are treated like royalty. Now this morning, so I take them and we leave early because they give you this thing like make sure they have a hearty breakfast that will keep hold them over and make sure that they're alert, and make sure that they get plenty of sleep. Make sure they give you all this litany of things that you have to do to make sure they're prepared for the STAR test. But they didn't give me any math facts or anything like that. I could have made sure he was at least had gone over the math stuff. This is the math part of it. But when I drive up, there is this huge line. I mean, like every child that was going to participate in the fifth grade didn't ride the bus today so that they could have a calm way to get to school. And I mean, everybody brought their children to school, so it took forever. But luckily, I did leave early today. And it always confuses the teachers that open the door and let the kids out to go in school. I drive through, and when the teacher looks down and sees that it's me, he automatically pulls up his watch to see what time it is, because he thinks wait a minute, this isn't right. She's not supposed to be here early. Is it too late, or what time is it? So I totally confused him. But McDonald's did the coolest thing, Richard. This is what they did. They said that anyone that would come up and say that they are in fifth grade, they're taking the STAR test, they get a free Egg McMuffin or oatmeal this morning. And Samuel was determined to get this free. I said, look, we don't have time to go sit, at McDonald's and do this. We're going to, he said, but it's free. It's free. I said, I'll save up some money and buy you one later, but we're not going to do that today. And so I made him, I said, I've got a great breakfast for you. This is great. This will keep you full till lunchtime. But McDonald's did that. I think that was wonderful. That was really, really sweet of him. But yesterday, this happened, it's supposed to be this morning, and he said, McDonald's is giving us free if we're taking the STAR test. Let's go to McDonald's and only get one free. And I said, I think that's for tomorrow morning, Samuel. Don't you understand? It's like before you take the test, they're going to give you the free. He says, no, they have breakfast all day now, so we can get it any time. So his reasoning was right, but we went up to the counter and he made me ask them for it, and they said, no, ma'am, that's before in the morning before they take their test. We wouldn't be doing it now. And I went, oh, of course, I felt so stupid. But anyway, that's what was going on. And this morning to get here, just to make it here. But I'm telling you, we've got so much to talk about today. Richard, there's so much that's been going on. I don't know. If you've been watching the news, or am I going to be able to talk to you intelligently about it? You look like you're about to go to sleep. But the thing that happened, I was up at 2 o'clock this morning, and about 1:30, and stayed up till about 3, and was listening to this thing that happened where the guy hijacked this plane and took the plane. Instead of it landing in Cairo, he took the plane to Cyprus, where he was going to ask for asylum. And the conflicting reports were hilarious. By the time they got back down to this morning, everything had changed. The guy's name, who he was, where he came from, what he was doing there. They said at one point the negotiators are bringing in his ex-wife and his girlfriend. I thought, that was strange. That may be more risky than anything. He said he had a belt on that was going to blow up, one of the suicide belts. And I think he just pointed to where he would be wearing the belt to the, not waitress, the stewardess. And she reported to the pilot. The pilot then called and reported that we have a man on board with explosives, a belt with explosives, and he's going to blow himself up. So then, and you think to yourself, what kind of airport security do they have in Egypt? You think they're a little bit better than that. And then they report that he was saying, all kind of crazy things, and that everybody knew it was going to just any time it was going to happen. The plane lands safely, and then he demands that all the police cars move back. And if they would move back, he'd let the women and children go. Now, at that point, very point, the flag should go up that this is not an ISIS thing. This is not, ISIS would have had them all beheaded before they got, they landed the plane. And this guy was going to let the women and children off. And then his demand was that he wanted all the female prisoners in Egypt to be released. So I don't know how that sat with his ex-wife, but he wanted to deliver a letter to his ex-wife, and then he wanted them to release all the female prisoners in Egypt. That ought to be a fun story to follow up and find out what the real facts and what the real truth was of that. But he and his ex-wife had been having a lot of problems, and there was a big dispute in their divorce. And this is the way he handled it. It was really interesting. I thought that he would go to this extreme, this much trouble to try and fix things with his wife. And I don't think they're going to be giving him asylum in Cyprus. I just don't think that's going to happen. But anyway, I think it was a great lesson to see that these, somebody like that could, because of our times and because we've had real bad things that were happened, and that there was a reality to it. But this guy comes on and just fakes, the fact that he has a suicide belt on, and just by merely pointing to where it could be, or patting, like around his waist, that I have a suicide bomb on and will blow everybody up if you don't meet my demands. And that's all it would take. That's all it would take that would do it. And I would be that pilot calling, security at the airport in the first place that they left, where they left from, and find out, anybody have any suspicious characters that this could be a real guy, but that the fact that he let the children and women off, that was really good. And then everybody got off safe. Everybody was fine. He was holding back some foreigners, and they thought that was weird. Like, was he going to try and fly them to some safe place? But it was all over the place. They had every expert. Fox News, MSNBC, CNN MSNBC. They play lockup during the night, and they replace it with all the news that's going on. But everybody else had the maps and all these experts being brought in, and because they were all treating it like it was a terroristic act. And what was the funniest is the Egyptian minister, his prime minister, the Egyptian minister, said, "This is not a terrorist. This is an idiot." And I love that. I thought that was pretty. It's like something straight out of Donald Trump's mouth. But he said, "There is nothing to fear. This is a criminal act. We'll take care of this guy, and don't worry about it." But they were sending in experts from everywhere coming in to take care of this. And what was bad was Cyprus, the airport there is not that big, so they couldn't handle all the people that were trying to come in, the experts trying to come in to make this happen. But how silly did all those anchors look? The because the people they were talking to and how serious this was about talking to them, they didn't have any information, but they were just projecting and getting way out in front of the story, and it was pretty amusing. It was like watching a reality show in the making. But if you're at home and listening to this and can decipher this, I certainly would not put myself in any special category to be able to decipher this. Anyone could have sat there, and if you went through the channels and you're listening to what they're saying and the conflicting reports, wow, it was kind of scary on that part. And just after the president had been lecturing the media about the way that they handle stories and all, and just went off on them, he actually, had a point on this one. They do get a little bit carried away and worried about who's going to be the one to beat everybody else to the punch and make sure that they get the story first. So anyway, it was an interesting, early morning happening, and I thought, well, this will be interesting to talk about because of the way they were portraying the story. And then as it got further and further down, this is just a domestic dispute, and he took the whole airplane from one place to another, by saying he had a belt with a bomb in it, or explosives in it. So anyway, I thought that was a pretty interesting, but didn't happen, did not pan out. So I love that. But you know what we did not talk about yesterday? Because we had such a fascinating guest. We had Deanie Harmon on with us, and she was a 17-year veteran of being an undercover narcotics agent. And she's retired, of course, but she could talk about stories. And we just skimmed the surface of what she offers, an interviewer that could sit and talk to her forever. And in fact, one of the things that we didn't get to, that she said she will come back. She'd love to come back, so I was so happy to hear that. And she was called by a producer in L.A., but they wanted to do a series, and in that series, they wanted to have a real live, narc type of, undercover narc type of person, and they found out about her. They called her and offered her a job, and so she's negotiating with them, and I want her to get it. That'd be great. But boy, she said that she'd love to come back on the show, and anytime, Cindy, I love to talk about this stuff. And man, Bob Berry was just panting like, this is somebody I can talk to and relate to. This is so much fun. And we went after the show. We went out front of the station, and they told stories. And I said, you guys, you better remember all these stories, because you got to tell them on the air. And some of them said, well, some of them we can tell, and some of them you got to be careful about. So anyway, it's going to be fun. And because of all that, and I'm just about to do it again, is we didn't talk about Easter. So when we come back from this break, we are going to talk Easter and things that have been going on, and what everybody did. And was it a weird Easter for you, or was it fun, or what happened? If you want to call in with your Easter stories, it's fine with us. 936-647-3776. You're listening to The Cindy Cochran Show, and we will be right back.
The Cindy Cochran Show, the first daily talk show serving Montgomery County.
I'm Lieutenant Bob Berry with the Conroe Police Department, reminding you that texting and talking on the phone while driving are not only dangerous, but also illegal in school zones and other posted areas. Drive safely and alert.
The Texas A&M AgriLife Extension Service has been dedicated to educating Texans for over a century. In 1915, the Extension Program was established under the federal Smith-Lever Act to deliver university knowledge and agricultural research findings directly to the people. Ever since, AgriLife Extension programs have addressed the emerging issues of the day, serving diverse populations across the state. Texans turn to Extension for solutions in horticulture, agriculture, 4-H and youth, and family and consumer sciences. Extension agents respond not only with answers, but also with resources and services that result in significant returns on investment to boost the economy. Join us Fridays at 1 o'clock for the AgriLife Extension Hour.
Hi, Hi, this is BJ Orner from Montgomery County Performing Arts Society. I'm here to remind you to get your tickets now for all the upcoming events that McPass has to offer. All shows will be held at the beautiful Crichton Theater in downtown Conroe. Call 936-441-7469 for your tickets today, or go to our website, www.mcpass.org, for more information. Hope to see you at the show.
In a world where everyone with a smartphone is a photographer, unique images still stand out in local newspapers, magazines, and on the internet. Writer and photographer Brad Meyer has gained a reputation for innovation and quality, specializing in an editorial approach to portraits and event photography. For information, visit bkmeyer.com or call 281-221-4812.
The Cindy Cochran Show. You ain't heard nothing yet.
And we're back on the Cindy Cochran Show. I sure hope that you have been enjoying this week so far. It's Monday, it's now Tuesday, but Sunday, it just seems like so strange when you have, we were off Friday, not me, but the kids and all that were off Friday, and then Sunday, we just had a food fest. That's what we did. We went to church, and the videos I'd been working on for church came out. You're able to understand what the people are saying, and they even applauded, Richard. They applauded the videos. It was so much fun. And after the videos are played, and we were coming down to the end, and they're getting ready to sing the last song, right before that, we stood up, and we have a whole row of our family in the back, and we sit in the very back. And so we got up, and we started to leave because I needed to get to the house early before everybody got there. And we're walking down the hall. We can still hear what the preacher is saying. And he says, you know what? I know everyone's so thankful for these videos, and I want to thank the person who did these videos. She shot them, she edited them, she did all that, and her name is Cindy Cochran. Cindy Cochran, thank you so much for doing this. And we're in the hall. I'm like, oops, I didn't know he was I've never had somebody thank me, like in church when you've done a video or something like that. Then it was thank you.
Did you not put your graphics at the end of it?
I know Richard suggested that I put this video has been brought to you by the Cindy Cochran Show at Lone Star Community Radio, and I thought that would be crass to do that. And you know how I don't like being crass, Richard, and doing the appropriate.
Well, you got a brand, you got to use it.
Yeah, no,
I mean, you don't even have to put a picture. You just put your name, like names produced and created by the Cindy Cochran of the Cindy Cochran Show.
Well, I was so appreciative that he thanked me and used my right name, and he said that he complimented it and said that. So I told Sam, I said, I've got to go back and tell him thank you for thanking me. And he goes, you don't have to go back in there. You will never make it out. We'll never get home and eat.
Yeah,
and I said, do you know that? You know that story?
I know that feeling.
Yeah, and
I hate it
because he believes I have to talk to everybody. And so usually that's why he likes to leave just a little bit early so we can get away from everybody and not.
That's why you just grab the mic and be like, see you all later.
Well, he was. So anyway, I said, I'll be right out. I'm just going to go in there, thank him, and be right out. Well,
you should just wrote him a personal letter. It probably gave more meaning to him.
It probably would.
Thank you. I spent a lot of time. I enjoyed doing it. If you want me to do it again, don't ask me.
That's exactly. That's what I'm afraid. I didn't want to be too happy about it. But no, I enjoyed. These people were great, and everybody met Dot. If you listened to the show last week, Dot Merter was on there, and she's 90 years old. She volunteers at the Chop House, the Conroe House of Prayer, and was amazing. And then the other stories were as well amazing. This one guy had gone in just for sinus surgery, and his wife is sitting in the waiting room, and the doctor comes out and says he has had all vital organ failure. Everything has failed, and he's not going to make it through the night, and we're trying to keep him alive. Just see what happened. We don't understand what happened. And it turned out that he had a massive heart attack. And so she sat there, and the church people came and they prayed and all that, and Next morning, he was still there, and he went into a coma, and he was 12 days later with all these people coming up there every day and praying, and he woke up. And so it was on a Sunday morning. He woke up, and they called the church and said he's awake, and he's doing fine. The doctors don't understand it, but he's doing fine. And so I got to tell that story. And, I'm so bad because I'm so sensitive to what they're saying, and I'm visualizing everything that they're saying and deciding how it's going to be put in a video. And then I start crying. I am so bad about this. They're sitting there, and they're telling this gut-wrenching story, and I get emotional, and I'm supposed to be like just ask the questions, and you're not, tying yourself to the story, Cindy, emotionally, because you got to get through this and do that. But I do. So every time I would see it in certain parts where things they would say was just amazing, and I would get so emotional. And then another couple that had waited 10 years to have a baby, they got married, and they kept praying, and they didn't know what was wrong, and they found out that she had endometriosis and had to have a surgery and left her with one ovary. And at that point, they really gave up. It'll never happen. We're never going to have children. But they had the prayer warriors of that church is praying and praying. And she comes home and goes, guess what? I'm pregnant. So 10 years later, they do have a baby. So they told that story. And it was just great because it really did tie people to these, the ones that were, doing the testimonial. And whenever I've ever done this before, I did this forever at Grace Crossing, Spring Woodlands, and the other churches I went to. I did the videos and the video production for them. And the people I would do the stories on would come back to me and go like, I have never met so many people in church. It's so amazing how many people I've met. And it was fun. It was very gratifying. And it was, you get a lot more reward than a lot of money, because I've done the videos for a lot of money and then done those that help somebody and help people, and that's a whole lot better. And so anyway, so Easter was great, and we came home and had all this food and just ate because my son and his wife and grandson were all sick. They had a virus. They could not come. And it cut down on the amount of people eating the food, and we had more to spare. And I brought them a plate later, all the ones that could actually eat. It's terrible to get a virus, and you have all this food, and you can't eat. You've got to have soup or, just Coke and crackers. But we had a great time, and we had so much fun. We did the Easter egg hunt. I had 50 eggs. I thought the other kids were going to be there, but I had 50 eggs that we went out and hid and let them go out and do that. But at church, they had bouncy houses, they had face painting, they had all this stuff that was going on in between services that you could go out and the kids could have fun, because they invited the community to come in and let people just for free. They got so many things for free, and they fed people, and it was amazing. So it was a great Easter day, and there were a lot of churches that were doing things like that, not just the Conroe Church of Christ, but it was so many churches around this community that really open up their doors and really want people to come in and just to get a taste of what it is like in that atmosphere of family and all. And so if you feed them, they will come. If you have bouncy houses, they definitely will be there. And it's a given. It's just a given, and it's a way to get people in. And I don't know, Richard, do you think that's distasteful to provide all those things so people will come in and then will stumble into church and maybe have a good time and come back? Do you think that's wrong? Or is that good marketing?
I mean, you got to look at what churches, how they handle Christmas and also Easter.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't mean there's so many different things people do to get people to come to church.
Well,
so is it wrong? Me personally, I'd be disappointed if it's not there the next week, because I was like, hey, this is good food. And then it's like, oh, we only do that for Sunday or on Easter Sunday. I'm like, man, what?
But now wait a minute. Now think about. Because people didn't like the fact I would do videos. There was a time when I first started doing videos in church that they didn't like that.
Somebody at church criticized the way
that
everything was being handled?
That there was videos.
I don't think there's one time a church has said, hey, we're good.
We're good with everything.
We're good with everything. Yeah. There's always something going on.
Somebody has to complain. In fact, the fun thing that this one church did was because everybody's always arguing about the temperature in the church. They're always complaining about it's too cold, it's too hot. Don't understand it.
You see, that's one thing I like about certain places that do too low, because going in, you need to bring a jacket. Like typically when I go to the movie theater, I always try to bring a sweater.
Do you really?
Just because you never know, and especially my favorite one was on Saturday. I went to the ballet, and I was like, oh, I gotta bring my jacket just in case. And it was like, I don't know what they do, but the rich people below, it was cold for them, but us mezzanine sitters, it was so hot. Like I was sweating. I was like, man, I look around like, is anyone else just like just is this part of the modernism of this ballet? Is everybody just got to be uncomfortable while watching this? And but
what was the name of the ballet?
It was a salad style, which is, I guess, the way Holly explained to me was they kind of bring in different parts of ballet, like modern, classical.
Oh, okay.
And they kind of, what I loved about it was just 8 to 12 minutes long each one, and then they give you a 3-minute break because they have to change out the dancers and stuff. So it was really nice. Like you weren't just sitting there for an hour and a half not understanding what's going on. I'm like, hey, this looks pretty. You get that after about 20 minutes.
Right.
But now, like, you get to see different types of dances, different types of pieces.
That's perfect for the ADD audiences that you're going to perform for.
Plus, you get to see weird stuff. Like, I saw some weird stuff.
Okay.
And,
what's your definition? No, I don't even know. I don't want to know your definition of weird
When I
stuff.
say weird, I mean, like, these people were tumbling on the ground and rolling around and doing acrobat things, not like the classical sense of ballet where they're on their toes and doing neat things, throwing each other. Like, they were all over the place.
Really?
And it was just kind of like, man, I made some jokes to her about how people take this way too serious. Mm-hmm. And I wanted to say something along the lines of, like, they always have a choreographer. And when people are choreographing this, I go, do you think they go, hey, put his face on your crotch and roll around and make sure you stay at this height with his arc and make sure that happens? And because it's the only way to describe what's happening. Like, it looks, it's art in a sense, and they're not naked. It's like, so it's just them, but the way they're throwing each other around, I'm like, your face is going to be on that area for about 10 seconds.
Wow.
And it's just funny to me because I was like, because they're throwing each other around. It looks really cool.
Yeah.
But I was just like, I wonder how they describe it to these people, how they get these people to do these things.
Yeah, when they're having their serious talk about it. Okay, position 2 is going to be this, and when we're going to transition into, you're right. But I don't think I have ever seen a ballet live. I don't think I've ever been to a ballet live.
It's neat. It's a neat way to see a story, and that's one thing that's neat is there isn't really a long-term story, or there isn't really a story at all. It's just two people dancing, or a group or a company dancing. Yeah. And there was one group from Germany, or Munich in Germany, and they basically just had fun. Like the energy from them talking, they actually talked to you, and then they were screaming and they were playing. Like one of the neatest ones, if you can imagine like a puppet hanging. One of them acted like a puppet, and the others used their breath to move the hands and the limbs, and they sucked and they blew, and like you see him do all this stuff, and it looked really neat.
That is.
So it's just kind of stuff like that. So.
What I
it's
think
kind of like that passion play they did at that church. It's just.
Did you see the picture of the passion play?
Can you imagine
the cool
thing? Can you imagine people at that church criticizing about that?
Yeah, exactly. That they must have some really
rope.
out of the box.
They didn't
thinking.
use nails. I'm just kidding. I have no idea. I can see people complaining. Actually, I remember going to a church in Houston. Somebody complained about the statue of Jesus, and it was kind of that imagery kind of bothers me because you're trying to appeal to everybody in a sense of you want to come to church. Imagine you being 10 years old and you look up and like right above the guy who's talking the whole time is a picture of Jesus bleeding and just nailed to a cross, and I'm like, man, we're just going to remind ourselves of this every day.
Well, it's because Easter is what you're celebrating is him coming out of the grave. That like the Friday he was nailed to the cross, but then on the third day he rose again.
Was it really a Friday?
The miraculous.
I feel like that's just convenient.
Well, no, our calendar probably had a different change.
Can you imagine if they actually a church stuck to that? And it's like, oh, by the way, we won't have you having service on Sundays. It will be this Thursday.
No, because they had to have him. They had to have the people that were crucified dead by the time that they could, before the Sabbath started, because the Jews couldn't do anything on the Sabbath. They were,
Can you imagine
all
managing
the
a town
laws
like
they
that?
had. Oh my goodness! No
How about
wonder.
Rome? Rome was just like, these guys are crazy.
Yeah, no wonder Caesar and all those guys were like,
What reminds me of that is this guy who is on YouTube, and his wife and him are Jewish, but he flew to Israel for whatever reason. Well, anyway, they lost his luggage, and it happened to follow on the Sabbath, and he couldn't buy any clothes.
right.
So he had sweatpants, and they were supposed to go. I think they were all going to some pool or something like that. And he's like, it's really joke. He's like trying to find a place that was open, and
See, and Jesus came to break all that because the laws had gotten so restricted. That was not God's laws. Those were what, the priests and all those guys decided. You couldn't walk more than so many steps. You couldn't pick this up, and you couldn't do. There were so many things they couldn't do, not to work, but to rest on the Sabbath like God did. But God did not mean it like that. Take a nap. That's about it. Okay, we're going to be right back with the Cindy Cochran Show, and we're going to get into so many things. 150 FBI agents are working on Hillary's case. She has so many things that I don't know how she's still standing up there and talking. We're going to talk about it when we get back on the Cindy Cochran Show. Don't go away.
The Cindy Cochran Show. Real reality radio.
Hello, I'm Bonita DeRosa, Animal Control Officer for the City of Willis. We invite you to tune in to Lone Star Internet Radio every first and third Thursday of the month at 11 a.m. for the Willis Hour. On the first Thursday of the month, the Willis Hour will be covering upcoming events and news about the city. Join in the conversation with your city officials and other leaders in the community. On the third, we will be doing a recap of the last City Council meeting. The mission of the City of Willis is to provide high-quality services, accountability, and professional commitment to our citizens. We pledge to provide those who live, work, and visit our city an effective government that is open and responsive to the needs and values of the community. Again, we invite you to tune in on Lone Star Internet Radio every first and third Thursday of the month at 11 for the Willis Hour.
In a world where everyone with a smartphone is a photographer, unique images still stand out in local newspapers, magazines, and on the internet. Writer and photographer Brad Meyer has gained a reputation for innovation and quality, specializing in an editorial approach to portraits and event photography. For information, visit bkmeyer.com or call 281-221-4812.
The Conroe YMCA's benchmark adaptive programming for kids and adults is Leap of Faith. Leap of Faith is an equine-assisted therapy program serving children and adults with adaptive needs. The riders in our Leap of Faith program are working to address and manage specific aspects of their lives impacted by illness, injury, or disability. The Leap of Faith program has experience working with riders who are living with attention deficit or other hyperactivity disorders, hearing impairments, visual impairments, developmental delays or disabilities, autism, Down syndrome, multiple sclerosis, muscular dystrophy, head traumas, brain injuries, and paralysis. Our program uses horseback riding to develop self-confidence and self-esteem, to increase upper and lower body strength, assist in respiratory issues, and establish a trusting relationship between the rider and their horse. Not only do these activities aid in the physical and mental development of the rider, but they also foster self-reliance and independence. For more information regarding our program, to become a rider, or to volunteer with a great group of people, please call our Welcome Center at 936-441-9622 or visit our website at www.ymcahouston.org/Conroe.
The Cindy Cochran Show, the first daily talk show serving Montgomery County.
And we're back on the Cindy Cochran Show. Boy, has so many things happened in the political world. I think sometimes when these tragic terrorist acts happen, that, Donald Trump must go, they won't be looking at me now. And then our Hillary Clinton says, oh, wow, now I won't be so scrutinized during this time. I can rest for a minute. And I sometimes I just don't know how they stay with it. You know, Trump has plenty of money and plenty of things going on in his life, and he must question many times when he finds out that after the GOP made him sign this document that said he will vote, if he isn't the nominee, he will vote for whoever is the nominee. And they, first he wasn't going to do it. And then they went to him, talked to him, and he said, okay, I'll sign it. Because maybe he thought, who knows? Maybe I could be it. And this could make all those, Jeb Bush and Ted Cruz and all those people have to say they will vote for me. So in his mind, he may have been thinking that when he finally changed his mind about signing it. But I wonder now, how he looks back on that. I guess I should have made sure that all the GOP leaders and the elite have signed the same thing, that they will vote for whoever the nominee is. It's just, I can't believe it. And, he said that if they don't treat me right, then I may just have to go off and do a third party thing. And, that's, you think they'd be smart enough to know if this guy threatens that, he will do it. And you guys better think twice about doing some things that's going to be so radical and just destroy the party by getting to the convention, and all of a sudden we're going to bring in Paul Ryan, and everybody can change their the ones that have come in, the delegates that have come in, and they can change their mind after the first vote. And if Trump doesn't get the majority, they vote again, and they can change their votes and go to whoever they want to. And boy, it's going to be a mess there. But you look at all the scrutiny and all the things that are going on with Donald Trump, and people saying he's not a Republican, he's not a conservative, he doesn't have the background, he doesn't have the experience to be this and all that. And then you look over at Hillary Clinton. Oh my word. Started going through just 3 things that she's up against right now while she's trying to go out and be a politician and be the one saying, if you vote for me, this is a vote for the future. And we don't know what kind of future she's going to have. She has, over 150 FBI agents on the email server scandal, and they're investigating. And they have said, the head of the FBI has said, if she's not indicted, that he would turn in his resignation, and all the FBI agents that have been working on this would turn in their resignation. This would be a horrible thing. So it makes you feel like they're going to have to do the indictment. Now, as President Obama is coming to the end of his term, and they start doing all the pardoning stuff, he could, if he wanted to, and if he wants to forget about the statement that Bill Clinton made in his speech stump with trying to promote Hillary, saying that now that we've got this 8 years of horrible legacy behind us, we can move forward and all that. And of course, Hillary tried to spin it, saying no, he was talking about George Bush, but I'm sorry, the word never came up, George Bush. So she couldn't spin out of that. That was terrible. So if Obama can forget that he said that and give her a full pardon, how would you like to be voting for the person that had to get a full pardon from the outgoing president, so that she could remain a candidate for the nominee for her party? Bernie Sanders is now closing the gap on who has the most delegates. Delegates. Why do I call them delegates? They're not delicate at all. It's a delegate. He is so close now. He's getting closer, and is starting to really worry the DNC, and I am sure that the thought of Bernie being the nominee is scaring them, because they don't feel like he could win a general election because he's too socialist, winning the presidency of the United States. I don't think so, but who knows? Nobody can say anything for sure. So she's got that. And then now you have heard me go on and on about Hillary, call me. Don't, tell her, trying to give her advice, like, I will help you with who you're going to have out there speaking for you. She had Gloria Steinem out there and made a fool of herself and said things that just infuriated the women. And she's had other people that, she can't be there and write the script for them. And then they say stuff that just makes the one group of people she wants to make sure she can consolidate is the women, and it's not happening. So she sends out her philandering. I mean, this guy, Bill Clinton, nothing about him says, truth, honesty, I am the way. And all people see, especially older people, see him shaking his finger at us and saying, I did not have sexual relations with that woman. We can't tolerate that. So she sends him out, trots him out to try and, coalesce everybody into her camp. And he says stuff that's just, ridiculous and keeps getting her in trouble. And why in the world that she did not see this coming, I don't get it. I don't get it. Two of Bill's former lovers have now came out and said, one of them said that he did cocaine with her on her coffee table numerous times. And another lover said that she wants to expose Hillary and her abortions. Now, what I didn't understand, what I don't get from this, is it Hillary's abortions, or did she make sure this girl got an abortion? But that just came out, and there was no further information about it. So it's just those things that are going to be put out there, true or not. There's so much smoke around this guy that you just feel like the combustion's going to, happen again. And all of us who lived through Jennifer Flowers and the audio tape that you hear him saying to her, don't tell anybody. Make sure that if they come and ask you questions, do this. And there was the tape. She had it. She had him dead to right. And Hillary comes out and defends him. And this is just saying this is just a right-wing conspiracy. We don't know for sure if that was even his voice and all kind of things. So it's just, I don't know. Bill, go home, stay home until this happens. If you want to sleep in the White House again, then you better stay at home until she can wrap this up some way. And that's going to be the interesting part on the DNC side. And then on the RNC side is that if they will be able to change the rules enough and be able to, have a hostile takeover and trot somebody else out that has not been working for an election, and all those people that stood in line for hours and hours in the cold and the rain and in the traffic, doing their job, doing their part, voting, which everybody says vote, it's so important that you vote, and then you find out, wait a minute, are you trying to tell me that you're not going to listen to the people? You're going to just decide on your own and think what's best for us? I'm telling you, this, when Donald Trump says some things that may come out true, is when he says there may be riots. You may cause riots by, turning on the people like this and not letting them vote. That's the disenfranchised people. This would be the height of it if they did something like this. So that's so interesting to look forward to. And we are not even into the summer yet. We're not even into the summer, and it's just heating up and getting so exciting to see the outcome of this. But luckily, if you believe in God, you're going to believe that. Okay, this has happened before. Don't worry. History repeats itself. It's okay. I got this. Don't worry. Listen, when we come back, I want to talk the Batman and Superman thing. We got to talk about that just a little bit more, and see if you, those who have seen it, what they've said. We're going to talk about that. You're listening to the Cindy Cochran Show, and we will be right back.
The Cindy Cochran Show. You ain't heard nothing yet.
At
At Jazzy Junk, volunteers reclaim, restore, and recycle. Jazzy Junk is a non-profit resale storefront where you will discover wonderful, unique finds at very affordable prices on furniture, antiques, books, art, home decor, and more. When you shop Jazzy Junk, you support New Danville, a community for adults with developmental disabilities. We receive new donations daily, so plan a visit to Jazzy Junk today to find that perfect item or gift. Our motto is here today, gone today, so remember to hurry in and shop often for the best selection. Jazzy Junk is located in the outlets at Conroe on League Line Road and I-45 North. Call 936-441-4500 or visit our website, jazzyjunk.org, that's Junque, for more information and store hours.
Tune in to Chamber Chat with your host, Courtney Galley and Samantha Good, with the Conroe Lake Conroe Chamber of Commerce, every first Tuesday of the month at 11 a.m. I'm one of your hosts, Courtney Galley. Samantha and I will chat about the Conroe Chamber's upcoming events and programs for the month. Relax with a cup of joe or your favorite drink for Chamber Chat.
In a world where everyone with a smartphone is a photographer, unique images still stand out in local newspapers, magazines, and on the internet. Writer and photographer Brad Meyer has gained a reputation for innovation and quality, specializing in an editorial approach to portraits and event photography. For information, visit bkmeyer.com or call 281-221-4812.
Have a legal question? Are you a resident of Montgomery County? Call 281-645-6344 to talk to a volunteer attorney from the Woodlands Bar Association. We answer the phones on the first Monday of every month at 281-645-6344 from 5 p.m. to 8 p.m. to provide general legal information and information about legal resources to Montgomery County residents.
The Cindy Cochran Show, the most opinionated talk show on radio.
I bet you couldn't guess that this is the most opinionated talk show on radio and soon to be FM, 2 different channels on FM. Can the people take it? Can they really take the truth? Are they ready for the truth? It's going to be so much fun. That's coming soon, and we'll keep you updated on when that actually will happen so that you can untether yourself from your internet, your computer, and go get in the car and go to the store. That way you'll be able to be free and you can still listen. And then if you drive out of our listening range, which is going to be huge, but if you drive out of that range, you can go back to your internet at anywhere. And Chris Rossetti in San Francisco and all those people, the different people that have contacted us from different places can feel assured that they can still hear us at all times. And never fear, we'll always be there. Listen, the big elephant in the room is the conversation that's been going on in so many places about Batman versus Spider-Man. I love listening to people talk about it. What did I say? Spider-Man?
Spider-Man.
See, my grandson has me so ingrained in Spider-Man. Every time I see him, he says, I'm Spider-Man or I'm Batman. But he doesn't say Superman a lot. Okay, Superman. I was so excited to see this show, but I thought it was going to be them fighting evil. And then when I found out that they were fighting each other, I thought this is going to confuse my little grandson because he loves the superheroes and he loves these guys. And for them to fight each other was just ridiculous.
What do you think of the Lego movie then? Because that's like they're making a Batman one, and it probably has nothing to do with any Batman. It's just gonna be a Lego movie.
Yeah, but he knows Legos. He's involved with Legos and stuff, and so he knows there's a part of that, and it's okay because when the Lego movie, the first one that came out, I mean, he loved it. He loved it, and what's so funny is that the adults could get the humor of it because the ones that especially grew up with Legos and sees how they're doing these movies and how they're talking about it and bringing kind of in some old school stuff. But it's so funny. But he just, I mean, at the throne of Superman and Batman, and there they are fighting. But here's what I love about this whole thing the most is that the critics that have given it bad press and the people that are liking it, and it was number one at the box office, and the critics are saying, look, it's going to do that first weekend, and then it's going to die. Because people are not going to tell other people about it. It is not going to be a word-of-mouth thing. It's just going to die. And this reminds me of the people who talked about, Donald Trump. It's not going to work. Those people that are so smart, they have all the answers. They have got all these have the educational background that will give them the credibility to say so many things and pronounce so many things. And critics who, okay, they went to journalism, they know how to construct a sentence, they know how to use big words and all that, but just because they said they don't like it means nothing, because these people get jaded by watching movies. They could be in a bad mood when they go see the movie. Totally changes everything. So I've never listened to critics. Never listened to critics anyway because of that. Because I understand where they're coming from. And the people that come up to me and go like, I love the movie. I loved it. And I have to put my fingers in my ears and don't tell me anything. Don't spoil it for me. Don't spoil it. And they want to talk about it. They really want to talk about this movie because they really did like it. So, and my son, who will tell you in a minute, especially if he thinks I like a movie, about, if he liked it or not. He loved it. He saw it twice within a 24-hour period. And my daughter, Christy, does not. She really will judge it harshly, and she loved it. So it's gotten really good reviews from people that I listen to, and if they really like something, I'll probably like it. And I'll give more credibility to that than any, critic of movies. So I'm excited to go see it. And you guys see it when. Let me know. You Facebook me and let me know what you think of it and what your opinion of it was, and all. And I've seen what I feel like is that people that are really into these comic books and they've been reading them for a long time and they have a lot of history with them. They judge it so much more differently than we would judge. We would judge it. I want to know if the popcorn is good and the butter is good, and I get a hot dog and drink and sit there and I will enjoy the movie, and it's not going to make me want to puke because of what's on the screen or just make me depressed or sad. So I'm thrilled that we're able to go see this soon. And if you've seen it, please let me know. Tomorrow on the Cindy Cochran Show, I am supposed to be, and hopefully he's going to show up, as Derek Sinkfield. He's someone that I watched grow up in church, and then he totally turned his back on everything and became an agnostic, an atheist. He doesn't know what to call himself. He turned his back. Well, he did. He turned his back on everything. He just went another way. Well, he had to turn his back to go the other way, right? Okay, all right. Just keep whining and you keep saying stuff like that and saying, "Shut up, Cindy." All right, we'll be here tomorrow from 10 to 11. Thank you for listening to the Cindy Cochran Show.